Welcome into Inside Tiger Football presented by Rib Crib. Dylan Rivera here with head coach Travis Hill of the Tiger football program. And looking forward to this week. It's a big rivalry game, Broken Arrow and Union, every single year. That is a big one. That's the one you circle if you're a Tiger fan. Just the atmosphere that you're expecting for what is now a Thursday night game.
Correct.
Should be pretty big, right?
Should be. You know, you got two programs. I need to measure this out exactly. I believe that's 6 miles approximately. Get some definite on that. That are apart from each other, two programs, two schools. So that makes it a rivalry in itself. You know, back in the day, everybody knew each other just because it was close. Now, social media, everybody knows everybody across the nation. Yeah. But it's still a big rivalry, something we look forward to, and I'm sure that Union does too.
Well, and I mentioned it there in that explanation. It's a Thursday night game now. That game has been moved from Friday to Thursday due to the weather concerns. How does that affect your preparation this week?
Well, it does. Common sense, we're a day less as far as prep. So, you know, it just takes the kids to focus more on what the responsibilities. They're not going to get to rep that stuff as much as they have in the past. But it goes with both parties. So, you know, we look at it as an opportunity, like I said, kind of pregame conversation here with you. Find a way to win. It's the greatest thing in the world. You get a 24-hour reprieve that you usually don't get. But it does move everything up, puts a little bit of pressure on you, a little bit more stress as far as getting everything ready to roll. But I think we're in good shape, and coaches and players got to react to it.
One extra day for the players to rest, one extra day for the coaches to prepare for the next opponent that's upcoming.
Absolutely.
Don't want to look past Union, though, so we'll get into that here in a minute. But let's go backwards now. Let's talk about Norman North in a big game for you guys down on the road. You get a 43-14 win. I think maybe most complete game that Broken Arrow's played this season. You talked about the third quarters last week, and that was something that was a point of emphasis clearly with the program because we talked to Jeremiah Satimba later that day, and the first thing he brought up was the third quarter.
Absolutely.
So the team was not unaware of it. How do you feel like they fared coming out of the halftime break?
You know, we always say actions mean a lot more than words, okay? So we performed. The actions that you saw our kids and the way we went out and handled our business the second half, I believe speaks for itself. It was a 7-0 win the second half, the third quarter. So our kids played well, did things well, stayed focused, and made it a point of emphasis to finish, to finalize something that they'd started. So it felt really good from a coach's standpoint. But like I said, the reason why it does is because you saw your kids respond to it, and they saw the positive, and hopefully they carry that with them.
One thing that I always think is a positive is when you come away from a ball game and it feels like your team was able to keep their heads. Sometimes in the game of football, your emotions are going to get the better of you. And against Norman North, you saw the Timberwolves lose their cool a couple of times. Broken Arrow never really saw that. So that's got to be a positive on your end as well.
Absolutely. There's just aspects, again, that we have been training and talking, the coaching side of it, that we do to try to say, hey, these are things we got to overcome, we got to get better with, because we've had our moments, obviously, prior to this. And so to see the kids responding and go in the right direction is such a positive stroke. And it just speaks, their actions are what speaks, not their mouths. And so what you're seeing is kids that believe in themselves, believe in their football team, and coaches now that they're responding to us in this way. Hey, man, all you guys offer us is experience. And, that's it. Hey, man, we're not nothing else. I'm not the leader of this team. Well, you're the head coach. Yeah, but I'm not the football player. I'm the guy just passing out good information because of experience. And so you see the kids responding this way, and that's good because maybe a reflection of the head coach, because I'm passing on the knowledge, but it's a reflection of the kids making great decisions.
Absolutely. Now, every week I ask you your general thoughts from the previous game. I didn't do that yet, so I'll ask you now. Any other general thoughts, anything else that really stuck out to you from that ball game?
Travel well. Good job by all the coaches as far as getting all that preparation well, and then our kids responding. It's a big ball game. People don't understand that. I felt a little, on the shoulders going into that, just because I knew, you had two teams at turning points. Realistically, both 4-2, both 2-1 in district play. Who was going to come out of that and be moving forward with a lot of momentum? And I was glad it was the mighty Broken Arrow Tigers, not the Norman North Timberwolves. And so, like I said, going over their place and beating a very, very skilled athletic football team felt good.
Well, we're going to talk about the Tiger offense when we come back here on Inside Tiger Football. 43 points up on the board and a big win, and we will talk about that here in just a second.
Get your taste buds ready, because we're bringing all the drip and none of the drama with our new sauced and tossed Tender Bites. They're juicy, crispy, and sauced like a boss. Bite into your new obsession. Only at Slim Chickens.
Hey Tigers, get the only card that donates to Broken Arrow Public Schools every time you use it. TTCU Federal Credit Union has donated more than $360,000 so far. Support the Tigers with your card today.
Tulsa Bone and Joint, Northeast Oklahoma's sports medicine experts. We are pleased to help you and the athletes in your life with a number of surgical and non-surgical options. Tulsa Bone and Joint is proud to serve as team orthopedist for local high schools such as Broken Arrow, Owasso, Sapulpa, Cascia Hall, and Bishop Kelly. Tulsa Bone and Joint, moving life forward.
Welcome back to Inside Tiger Football, presented by Rib Crib. Time to break down the offense. Coach Hill, Dylan Rivera here. The Tiger offense puts up 43 points on the board, and that's a big number, and certainly a big number is 187. Yeah. That's 187 rushing yards for Corey Sango, a game that I said to you in the commercial break there, I feel like is a bit of a breakout game for him because you knew what he was capable of. Now the numbers match that.
Absolutely, and it's fun to watch. And we had Octavian Roberson, kind of our dual threat there at tailback between him and Corey, go down with a little ankle sprain. Probably could have come back and played, but with Corey holding the torch and doing such a great job was good. I mentioned to you during the break that our offensive line, that's what come on now, if we're going to have a great game offensively, whether it be running the football, whatever, they're going to have to do a great job. So kudos to them. Their grades were excellent too, by the way, and Coach Adcock's not an easy grader. So you're going to give a lot of credit to them, but Corey Sango also took a lot of 10-yard runs and turned them into 30-yard runs, 40-yard runs with his efforts, with his ability. So great job by Corey, and we do think it's a springboard. And, again, I think you're starting to see the identity take place for Broken Arrow football offense.
Well, I like that you bring up the dual threat aspect of having Roberson and having Sango. What does Sango's style of running bring to your offense?
I mean, this is opinionated. I'm not going to sit here and act like, Coach Hill's a running back coach and knows all this stuff. But, what I see, defensive guy. Yeah. Corey Sango's vision's outstanding, okay, and his cuts. And he's a sophomore, but yet he plays with strength. I mean, he's a strong kid. Has plenty of ability once he breaks it to run past people and everything else. Octavian, man, you just look at him, man, that is a home run hitter every time he touches the ball. I mean, long. I don't think we know, and I don't think Octavian knows, and I don't think our track team knows just how fast this kid can really run. So it just brings a good dimension. Now, the thunder lightning, I don't know we can go that way with this right here, but I did say this in the break, you got to have two backs at a high level. Yeah. I mean, you got to let, I say, my son found this, 11 guys are trying to hurt you. Yeah, every time. Every single time that you carry the football. And so you got to have two backs, and we're very complimentary backs and very happy for both of them.
Well, one thing that is always great is when you get to be named the difference maker of the game. And Corey Sango, our difference maker of the game this week, and Madison Dildine was able to catch up with him.
Madison Dildine joined by sophomore running back Corey Sango. Corey, what are your thoughts on your performances so far this season?
I've been pretty happy with my performances this season. I know last game I had a big game, my biggest of the season. I think really I just need to improve a little bit more, but other than that, I'm pretty good.
What areas are you looking to improve on?
I'd say inside zone, just reading it out. If they're in a 3-down, just reading the zero tech and more things like that.
Lastly, what's something that you're proud of either personally or from your team from the win at Norman North?
I'm proud of us as an offense, defense as a whole, really, because we kept on fighting. Offense has been a little rocky, but we picked it up, and really I'm proud of us for not really being in those third and long situations, really.
That was your difference maker of the game, sophomore Corey Sango.
Thank you, Madison. One thing, Coach Hill, that Corey Sango did was he broke off a really long run right before halftime. And I want to go back to that sequence, though, and ask you what the clock management situation was. It seemed like there was a hurry up to the line, but then it was kind of a hold your horses moment. Yeah. And then you end up with like 14 seconds left or something when Corey Sango scores. So what was the plan there?
The plan was real simple, was to get our first down, to spike the football. Okay, in other words, run up. We say first down, clock's going to stop long enough for us in 14 seconds to be able to go up, put the ball on the ground, and try for a field goal.
Right.
Okay, that was our deal. We wanted we wanted some more yardage.
Sure.
We've been an awful long field goal, but now we got some kids with some legs now.
Yep.
Okay, and the first down, and so that was our clock management. Corey made it really easy. And so he'll just go score a touchdown, which was great. We wanted to try to do everything we could before half. You talk about it, you kind of know my philosophy. To get that 3-possession game, man, you take one of those in the half, man, you're feeling really good. And so we were able to do that, but that wasn't because of any great management on my behalf. It was just Corey Sango taking it to the house and making us all look good.
Yeah, he made it look a little bit prettier, didn't
he? Yes, he did.
Well, one guy who's also been really successful in the run game is Titan Hicks. He's been a little bit of a revelation. How much of in the preseason did you know he was going to be such a crucial key to the offense?
Yeah, as we sit down as a staff and start kind of developing thoughts and like I said, we've talked about the identities. Where we're going with our football team, offensively, defensively, special teams. He's always been part of that factor. You've seen him in other games step back in that position and do some things. We also got another very, very talented kid that's played quarterback at his place that he was before in Peyton Lane that came over with us from Muskogee. So we have packages in for both those kids. It sees fit that because of the way we're trending offensively that Titans package fits us very well, which is let's go hit you in the mouth. Let's go play physical football. So he does that well. It's obvious. He had 97 yards, I believe.
Something like that.
Yeah. I know it was a 90-plus yard game. So like I said, whenever you got he becomes a running back for us almost to a certain extent. But there's so much more there to offer that we're not going to need to keep top secret or anything like that. But that package is just like any package. Some people's packages come down a little bit and some people's expand. I think we'll continue to expand on that package. And here's the nice part. It reflects upon a lot of people that you don't see. Well, how does how does Jeremiah respond to that? Well, hey, coach, go win. I got my role. I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to get the majority of the snaps. Yeah, absolutely. Jeremiah, you get the full offensive package. But I think it's helped us. It's made us better, and I think it'd make us a better offensive football team.
93 was our tally on this end. So,
but
yes, a really successful day. And you had talked about the offensive line, how much they helped with the rush attack. But I kind of want to talk about what they do for your pass game.
Okay.
I noticed a stat this week, only allowed 3 sacks.
Absolutely.
And 2 of them was in one game against Fayetteville. So across 5 other games, 0 sacks. Pretty impressive numbers, and that does a lot for the offense when the quarterback can sit back and feel comfortable.
Just think back, Dylan, we talked about this early. You said, what's your strengths? This is back in August. I said, offensive line needs to be.
Yeah.
And then we were I don't want to use struggling. We were playing well. We had some moments that we didn't do as well as what we expected to.
Sure.
What's so tough for them to understand is that from our standpoint, ours being the coaches, great job. Great job, but you know what? You got even a higher ceiling. So we want more, and they're capable of more. And so kudos that they're responding, and they are. Man, they graded out high. And like I said, Coach Hadcock's not going to give them a penny. He just ain't going to do it. And so to see them grade out and start to respond and enjoy that, and most offensive linemen, you get a chance to be physical. They do a great job. But as you mentioned, pass pro, we can protect Jeremiah. He also has good feet, can get himself out of some predicaments too. And all that does is, we don't need that negative yardage for sacks. So great job. Continue, and we're going to continue to pressure you guys as you listen to the radio show or to our show, to our podcast too. We're going to continue to push you guys and make you guys go the right direction. And great job.
Absolutely. So I mentioned earlier, 43 points is a good number. So was 14. Defense only allowing 2 scores. And we're going to talk more about the Tiger defense when we come back here on Inside Tiger Football, presented by Rib Crib.
While you are teaching someone special the nuances of keeping the wheel steady, we can provide you means for you to maintain financial equilibrium. First National Bank of Broken Arrow. First people put people first.
Hey Tigers, I'm City Manager Michael Spurgeon. The city is preparing for the next general obligation bond election in April of 2026. Just like the improvements to Albany Street in front of the high school, bonds help pay for upgrades to public infrastructure like streets and intersections, public safety services, parks improvements, and more here in our great community. To find out more about the bond process, visit the city website. Thank you for helping us build our future. Broken Arrow, enjoy the rest of the game.
Welcome back to Inside Tiger Football, presented by Rib Crib. Time to talk defense. Head coach Travis Hill sitting here with me on the ArrowVision set. Defense, you allow just one TD in the final 3 quarters of play. You get one in the first and one in the second.
Yep.
Certainly got to be pleased with your defensive performance overall, right?
41 yards rushing. I'll take it that means you're dictating from your side of the football, the defensive side of the football. You say, well, the offense dictates. No. Whenever you can shut down one thing they do, then you can kind of put them on their heels. So they had to throw the football. They did have 200 yards plus throwing the football. But as I said, we can handle that. I'm really, really happy with our kids and their efforts, because this is a team that I believe, as we went in, was averaging well over 30 points a game. It's probably another stat you can look up. I just get really close, Dylan. I don't know exactly, but I can get close. But very dynamic offensive football team. Yes. I believe the wide receiver, number 6, I don't want to screw up his name, is one of the number one or two recruit in the state.
Yep.
Dynamic wide receiver. Number 8, whose brother plays in the league and was a big-time tight end at Iowa State. Big-time ball player, just a pain in the butt, to defend because he's so multiple. Very, very, they got 2 offensive linemen. They got D1 offers, so they're dynamic offensively. And for us to just hang in there and make it a helter-skelter game on that side of the football and just say he can't run it, so we're going to have to throw it, definitely turn the tide. And I think that's where you saw the second half of the domination there because of that particular point.
Well, and to that point, you get 3 interceptions in this ball game. Seemed like you frustrated the young quarterback by getting some pressure on him. Was that the game plan?
It was. When you put pressure, oftentimes you have to pay the price in the back end if you can't get pressure there, because it changes the coordination of the defensive scheme. But we had both in play. And so I really do think you're correct that we was able to really rattle him based on having it where we dictated you're throwing the football. So we can bluff where they're coming or whether or not. And when we do come, we got to you. And when we don't, we're falling off in zones, 3 picks later. So I do think that allowed us, as you said, as we mentioned, to dominate and get after him a little bit and definitely keep him confused.
You mentioned all the stars that they have on their offensive end, and we had talked about them in the previous week as guys are going to have to be careful and watch out for. And Mason James is number 6, that receiver you're talking about. He gets 53 yards on the day, and that's a pretty low total for him. That's a good day for you guys defensively. And you had talked about he's not a guy that just stays out wide. He's the X, and that's what he's going to be. He moves around.
He's all over the place. They've had him in the backfield. They have him in, as we count receivers from outside in, 1, 2, 3. He's all over the place. So you had to know where he was at, be accountable for him, and I think we did a good job with that.
Yeah, and that's a credit to a lot of the guys in the secondary to make sure that he didn't break free at any point. And one guy that I think deserves some credit that's in the secondary is Jack Gardner. He steps in when Messiah Owens gets hurt, and he did a nice job. He ended up tied for the lead with tackles in the ball game, makes an interception in the final minute of the game, and a really impressive performance for him.
Absolutely what coaches love is next man up, and next man up when he's ready. I don't know if it was on any type of social media or anything like that, but I've been mentioning, I do know in several of our conversations that I have, Jack Gardner is just getting better and better and better every practice, every day. Somebody you can really entrust in. And I said, I've even called the Coach Dobson, the baseball coach, said, hey, it was actually one of his assistant coaches and said, hey, I bet you money he has a breakout year in baseball too, because you just see a young man growing into an athlete and understanding everything. And I think they all carry over. Football, baseball, it doesn't matter. They all there's assets to every one of them as you continue to grow and you get better in every sport. So fun to watch that. Gets in there, does a great job, knows what he's doing, knows his assignment work, don't miss a beat. Messiah, will get him back somewhere down the line. The longer we play, the more opportunity we're going to get Messiah back. Great athlete himself. But, no, it's fun to watch Jack jump in there and do a great job.
Well, that's you kind of alluded to it there, was my follow-up question was, Jack, a former QB, backup QB, I got to imagine that the IQ translates over the defensive side.
It does. And so even before I got to know Jack personally, of course, I started asking questions to the baseball coaches and everything. What kind of kid is he? What does he do? And Coach Copeland, he said, Coach, he's vocal. He speaks. He'll even talk a little trash, Coach. And I say that respectfully because what you are on defense as a safety, okay, is the quarterback of the defense, okay? So he's in that role a little bit, making decisions and making calls. So it's fun to have him back there. And here's what's great and unique about that. There's not enough footballs to go around in a year. If you're good, I don't care. There's always going to be somebody discouraged. They're not getting the ball enough or it's not going their way. That's a good football team.
Yeah.
Trust me. It happens every year because you got good players. And Jack's standpoint was a quarterback. Didn't get to honor that as well coming off of baseball. We put him in a position and say, we need you. We need, and realistically, Jack, we need you to grow and give us depth. Well, that's not the funnest role in the world. That didn't sound appealing, did it? But yet he did it, and he's done a great job, and now he's reaping the benefits from it, and that's where he needs to be in hindsight. So I don't know anything until we do it. But we did it. It's great. We think we got a great football player there, a great kid, and another asset to our football team.
Definitely a guy that you can showcase as a marker of if you do the work, you're there, you do what you're supposed to do, you can reap the benefits.
You see it in life, regardless whether it's athletics or anything else. Go play your role. Go do it the very best you can, and guess what? You're ready for the next role. And he was ready for the next role.
Yeah. I want to move up to the defensive line and talk about John Burrell II because felt like he was able to dominate the offensive line and dominate guys who have D1 offers.
Absolutely.
And really be a solid bookend to Gabe Manning on the opposite side. John Burrell II is a guy that maybe those numbers haven't always been there this season, but he makes a huge impact.
He's our best defensive lineman. He is sound in everything he does. He's not flashy. He's not the guy you're going to say, "Ooh, watch him." But he does everything so well, and he did. He frustrated. I'm not going to give numbers now for the other team. He's going to a university setting, and John Burrell outplayed him all night long. Made several plays on the line of scrimmage. I said we had 41 yards rushing. They did. He stuffed them. I mean, he was a big piece of that, and just does what he's asked to do to a T. And another great teammate, great guy. I didn't know it was John Burrell number 2, so I can take that and roll with that and give him a hard time. But that's good stuff, and glad you recognized him. Glad you identified that.
Yeah, and one thing that I've noticed in practice just from this week, I went out there yesterday, is he's very vocal in the room too. He's the guy that really leads the young guys and tries to give points and tips and here's what you can do better, those sorts of things. And that's a good presence for the locker room to have as well, right?
Absolutely. One of our senior captains and just a kid that, like I said, you can count on any time of the day, not just on the football field or at practice. So you can go over there in the classroom, go over there in the school settings, wherever it may be. John Burrell is a winner and a very positive for our football team.
Well, speaking of winners, you're going to want to be a winner on Thursday night when you guys take on Union. We will preview that matchup next here on Inside Tiger Football, presented by Rib Crib.
All in all, there's not a better place to work.
Working at St. Francis is...
Working at St. Francis is...
Working at St. Francis is...
It's very fulfilling.
The work that we do is hard. The work that we do changes people's lives.
It's more than a job.
It's more than a job.
It's more than a job.
It's more than a job. It's a calling.
It's time to update your kitchen, just for you. Kitchen Tune-Up will make your kitchen look and feel transformed. Let's create a kitchen that inspires and uplifts you. Kitchen Tune-Up. Update, upgrade, uplift.
Looking for some iced caffeine, left you in the cold. No one knows why brown water costs as much as liquid gold. Told him your name was Brian, why does this cup say Nicole? But then you found paradise in your cup at the Quick Trip. No regrets to start your day.
Welcome back to Inside Tiger Football, presented by Rib Crib. Dylan Rivera with head coach Travis Hill. Talking Broken Arrow and Union now. Getting ready to preview this Thursday night ball game. Quick turnaround. Got to be adjusted to that. This Union team, a team that has been adjusting all season long. They started out maybe on the wrong side of the bed, right? It was a little rough and bumpy at the start, but now over these last 2 weeks, 51 points and 49 points up on the board offensively. So let's start there. Some of their weapons offensively at the running back and wide receiver positions, those are two guys you're going to have to key in on.
No doubt. And again, I'll use numbers. And I think that's probably a good thing as I get older to think about it. So I never screw up a name. So anyway, that works really well. Zero, their tailback stud, really, really good. Like I said, I mentioned again before the cast here that he is as good as number 2 that plays for a while. So really, really outstanding. We're going to have to tackle well. Just great vision. Great balance, problematic player. One of the better ones around, better running backs in our state this year. Number 8, Stoner. That's an easy last name. The receiver. Now, I kind of mentioned to you, Union, you look at the football players in the past and you say, wow, what a lot of great football players. Well, he's now the single game record holder over there with reception yardage in a game last week. 200 plus, I don't know exactly the numbers, but again, just a dynamic football player. That's a great athlete. So you got 2 there that you got to be able to keep your eye on and know where they're at all times, and complementary players around them. So they are dynamic offensively. They found it. I kind of add on to what you said. Great coaching job. They weren't the best team. They're going through a new coaching change just like we did. They weren't the best team early in the year. We got a chance to watch them. We was looking at other programs when we went over there, but obviously we look at them and pay attention to them a little bit. Sure. But night and day from what you saw early in the season to where they're at right now, and they're definitely making some progress.
Do you feel like that's just a product of being bought in to Coach Graham's system and starting to figure things out?
It probably is. Everything's dynamic on how it works. I think that transition took a little later than the transition here to put him in place. So he's even, if it was, I don't recall if it was March, it may have been January. I don't recall, but the bottom line is every day counts when you transition to a new program because of the hiring of new coaches, the that, everything that goes with it to try to get it up to par. Sometimes it takes a little longer, but I think it's just a transition that they made, and now they got a lot of young football players, and the identity is starting to grow, and it's just like you see us. They're just getting better and better every time they go out on the field.
Yeah, and going to that wide receiver position, going back to Stoner, and one thing that I think might lend some success, and I want to get your opinion on it, is you play against Bethel at Owasso, you play against Mason James against Norman North.
Yep.
So you've had 2 ball games where you've played 2 star wide receivers, and that's not any discredit to any of the other wide receivers you've played, but those are the 2 that come to mind immediately. Those 2 being such successful, highly skilled ball players, do you think that can transition to where you might find some success trying to defend Stoner?
Hopefully. The way they get the ball to Bethel at Owasso and the way they get the ball to James over at Norman North are kind of little different than the way that Union uses to get the football to Stoner. But you put it all together, there's only so many ways to get them football. It does. Now, when you progress that down to one game, I'll say this. I don't think I have any problem saying this. I think it holds this. Who's the better football player? Collegiately, that's to be determined for one and foremost. High school, I got to give it to Stoner over here. I think he causes us more grief just looking at what he does. In the variety of things he does, and it may be just because he's more multiple, than the other guys. And don't forget, he is a 6'1" to 6'2", 190-pound, strong athlete. So not only catching the football, but ball in hands in any capacity, he's problematic.
Let's flip things over to the other side of the football now, and the Union defense. It's a crew that you described as being pretty athletic, so that may be some issues, but there's nobody that really has those stars to their name that really concerns you, right?
There's some truth to that. I mean, I think the Miami Dolphins, the only undefeated team ever, and they call them the no-name defense, right?
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of these young people over there, but man, you can watch, and I'd sit there and know that. I know Rocky Bright really well. His son's playing. He's number 44. Okay, so you're seeing the dynamics. They're very athletic, typical Union. They're not as big and outstanding as you've seen a Union defense before, but man, all of a sudden they're starting to find their groove, so to speak, and understanding what they're doing. And so very, very athletic football team, a lot of movement all of a sudden here as the years progressed, and a lot of man coverage, and they're doing it well. So we talk as staffs, and we never want to play against the what ifs. Okay, what if? So we look at it. they found their groove. They're looking good. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of changes from them. You're just going to see what they do and just continue on until proven elsewise. So they're playing really good defense to go along with, like you said, an offense that scored 50 and 40 points the last 2 nights.
Yeah.
2 games.
So the team, you're expecting them to probably bring some pressure and attack the box. So
no, I think there's no doubt about it. They'll give us multiple fronts and attack the box, trying to confuse us, trying to make big plays, get us behind the chains. And so it's going to be the dynamics of the game. How do we respond to that, and how do we of course, deal with that?
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about some things that are a little bit away from the X's and O's that relate to this matchup. And I asked you earlier on about it a little bit with how it changes your preparation. But I'm just curious, have you ever found yourself as a head coach in a position where the game shifts from a Friday to a Thursday or changes from a Friday to a Saturday, anything like that?
Got to do that a couple of times. We did it last year, when I was over at Muskogee. Last game of the year, Friday was supposed to be horrible. We go to Putnam City North, and the game's called at halftime. Thank goodness we're up 36-0. So I still had to convince them that, come on, game over. Lightning, of course, and delay. So we had to do that last year. Didn't come out on the better. We came out on the better end of the stick as far as the win and all that other stuff, but it didn't help us. And sure enough, on Friday it rained too. But probably would have been a better game on Friday than it was going to Oklahoma City on Thursday. So, but it still works out for the dynamics. The worst case scenario I've ever seen is a lightning delay, and we had to come back on a Saturday morning, playing on a Friday, and it was the worst thing. The worst. I was edited that game. Well, I was mic'd that game, and they had to edit quite a bit. Okay, I'll leave it at that because it's just so hard to do that, and I don't like it. So a lot of the decision-making process on this, move it up. There's some intangibles there that maybe ain't to our advantage, but the other side of it is it just nobody any good to show up here Friday night and not be able to get that game in, and then you have to what are you stuck with, And then Saturday's supposed to rain, and on and on and on, and it becomes just more and more problematic. It adds up on the back end instead of the front end. So let's get it on the front end. Going to be a beautiful night. It looks like tomorrow night to get this thing started. 2 teams right across the street. Crowd ought to be the same. That's what the high school pageantry gets to be there without being dampened, for lack of better words. Okay.
Well, I like that you bring that up in the atmosphere, and I asked you about it earlier, but I want to ask from your personal standpoint, do you have any memories from the Broken Arrow Union rivalry? I know you were here for a few years, so you might have a few.
I'm sure that I don't want Antonio to get this one here, but he wasn't involved in it, so it shouldn't hurt his feelings. But the big deal whenever we came over here, as I did as a DC, as a defense coordinator, Union, they hadn't beat Union since 2010, I think, and that was 2017. And Union beat us that year in a tight ball game. We walk out here at 11 a.m. on a Saturday morning because it's an ESPN telecast, and they're loaded. They'd won the state championship the year before. And I acted real confident. Wasn't very confident, but we played great.
Yeah.
So it was great feeling to get after them. And even though we come out on the short end of the stick. And then, the next couple of years, we beat them 2 games, 2 games at regular season and playoffs, and beat them regular season playoffs. So, yeah, feels good. Don't know that's going to happen again, but that's the idea. Yeah. So lots of memories about that highly contested game, and I could go and give more details. We don't have enough time for that. But, for example, they go down in the Mansfield series we had.
Yep.
They go against a Mansfield team, and they had 793 yards of offense the week before. And we played them over there at Union, win 14-7, and they have 98 yards. So, hey. But so good feelings about that. But like I said, whole new different era and a whole different set of kids. So look forward to renewing that rivalry and hopefully having some success with it.
Absolutely. Yep. Kickoff is at 7:05 p.m. That'll be on Thursday, so make sure you're adjusted on your calendar that it's going to be one day earlier. We're looking forward to this ball game. The pregame show will start at 6 p.m. on ArrowVision if you can't make it out. Looking forward to this one, Coach. Thank you for joining me here on the ArrowVision set, and thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week.